Well, hello. I'm in my car here tonight to talk about blind spots, car blind spots. The vast majority of cars trucking down the highway have these huge blind spots over their shoulders, primarily because the mirrors aren't set up properly on their cars, and the drivers don't realize it, and they don't know the difference. So it's up to you and I to deal with that as motorcyclists. I decided to do this video tonight. I'm in my car, which is probably not a great place to start a motorcycle video anyway. But I'm in my car tonight to talk a little bit about blind spots and what's worked for me. About 30 years ago, I read a fantastic article in a motorcycle magazine, a safety article on blind spots and how to deal with them. I adopted those practices in my driving, and it's worked phenomenally for me wherever I've driven, and I've driven in some very, very high traffic areas all over North America on a motorcycle, and these techniques have really saved my skin. Now, are they the be-all to end-all in safety blind spot? Absolutely not, and there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of good things to say about how to deal with blind spots, and more importantly, or more broadly, even distracted drivers. But even an attentive driver with a huge blind spot can still pull into your lane and knock you off your bike. So I'm going to share with you a couple of those techniques I've learned. There's not many of them. A couple rules of thumb. They're things that you can adopt or maybe use to modify your own technique on how to deal with blind spots. But at the very least, if you just watch this video and it reminds you to be aware of blind spots, well, then it's worth watching, I think. Now here's an example of a car with mirrors not set up properly. It's my view out the rear view mirror, out the side mirror, and even my peripheral vision as my head's facing forward. But when I look over my shoulder, look what I see. A full-size pickup truck can hide in my blind spot. Watch what happens when you set your mirrors up properly. Much better view. So here I am in a blind spot. Now what I've done is I've strung 2 extension cords, and I sat in the car, set up my mirrors in properly like the vast majority of drivers out there, and I looked at where my sight lines were, my peripheral vision, and my reflection, my view through the side view mirror. This is what's left over. This is all blind. I cannot see this from the driver's seat without doing a shoulder check. And this is where you want to stay away from when you're on a motorcycle. This is the danger zone. This is where you will get hurt or potentially killed. So this graphic is a representation of the first technique I want to show you that I use. The dark blue shape at the bottom is a motorcycle. It's following a light blue shape at the top of the screen, which is a car. The green areas are the sight lines of the driver in the car. The red area is his or her blind spot. So the first thing I do when I'm about to pass a vehicle is indicate that I'm about to do it, pull into the adjacent lane just over the dotted line, flash to pass, and then accelerate towards the vehicle, following that cone of vision. As I approach the rear corner of the car, I immediately snap over and jump across diagonally so I'm far away from the car and up into the driver's peripheral vision. It's kind of an S move. Now, using the poor wide angle of a GoPro, I'm going to show you it in practice. I pull into the adjacent lane after signaling. I hit the flash to pass right about here, bang, and then I slowly move up, or quickly move up, I guess, accelerate towards the vehicle, get towards the corner, and then snap across the lane, far away from the car, but into his line of sight. Passing long lines of cars, I follow the same technique, towards the car, away. Towards this is probably the best example here. Towards the truck, into his, and away. There are other blind spots you should be aware of, such as vehicles with windows blocked up like this truck. Other drivers can't see around this vehicle and can't see that I'm there in case they planned on turning in behind him. Plus, this driver needs to see me as well. So I try to ride in his line of sight through a side view mirror, as you can see here. And if I was going through a crowded intersection, I would probably pull in tighter than I was there to use him as a blocker should somebody turn left, in, around, in front of, or behind him. Now, if you watch my channel, you know I don't do how-to videos, especially around driving. That's just not what my channel's about.
But considering I did suggest some things that I do, I probably should put a disclaimer of sorts on this to tell you that, look, take my advice or my experience for what it's worth. But anytime you ride, it's your own responsibility. It's your decisions you should be making and your approach you should be taking towards your riding. It's up to you. But by all means, I hope you ride safe, and I hope you ride many miles without injuries or accidents. And on that note, until next time.